Yo, yo. We back again. And this time I wanna ask you guys, what next for Diddy? Mr. Diddy Pop. What's next for him? Where would he go next? The Gatsby of Sleaze. Diddy loved the phone-in comparison to F. Scott Fitzgerald, party throwing tycoon, but for every A-lister, there was a topless model withering around with a sex-obsessed host and seedy cronies. Hear me out. I actually thought that he might get some years, which he is. I thought he's gonna get like one of those Bill Cosby deals. But I thought like for hip hop, Diddy is gonna be the fall guy for all the misbehaviors in hip hop. Just like back in the days in comedy, Bill Cosby was the one. Now we're looking at because nothing. What Bill Cosby done was horrible. He always women, and that's not good. He drugged them, but during that time period of his fame, Spanish Fly and those type of things was going on, and it wasn't a big deal. It happened. Back then it wasn't a big deal. Now you're looking at like, we're looking at, whoa man, you can't be doing these things. And the same with Diddy. I'm not saying you go around whooping women's asses and stuff like that or forcing them into freak offs. But in hip hop, there's women around. Like one of them was like 50 Cent's baby mom. So you kind of wonder, how did she get into that circle? Because there's a lot of them like to be flown around, and you don't get flown around for free, right? They expect you to do something, not just look pretty on Instagram. The same with Cassie, you don't sit down there with Diddy for no apparent reason, just looking pretty next to Diddy. You're gonna have to put in some work, one way or the other, and that was the case. That's a lot of women know what's up. Like these people like glorified escorts at some point. When you look at Instagram, there's a lot of these girls out there that are just looking very pretty, but you don't see them do a day of work because they're escorts. You can't. They do things in ways where what's the deal. But yeah, what is next for Diddy? Yeah, I thought I went off there. Wow, what is next? Well, as before, I think they're gonna try and give him some years. Cause if they don't give him a couple of years, they might give him time served. But if they don't give him a couple of years in prison, they would look like they would have embarrassed themselves. I ain't gonna lie. The amount of trouble they went through to get him in prison, what they did, and they didn't give him any years. He just got time served. It's good on Diddy's behalf, but for the government, they would have embarrassed themselves fully. I'll be sitting there like, you went through all that, and he gets time served. Like, not even really a prison, really. He's in like jail. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect Diddy to ever end up in jail. Never did I think that would happen. Diddy's one of those slippery snake type people. Like, he always finds some way to slither out of the situation. It's always his money that helps him out, and you could tell. I think with Shine, his money helped him out there, but at that time he was kind of like faking it till he make it. He was rich, but he wasn't like how he was now rich. It's more like a fake it till you make it rich back then. So he was doing the fake it till you make it before people were doing that. Now everyone's doing that, but at that time, he had money. But as someone like Mark Curry might tell you, there were people out there way richer than Diddy, and Diddy was envious of them. So he had money, but it was never like going on to billionaire money. Hip hop wasn't at that level where you can transcend from music to selling sneakers, to selling clothes, to selling perfume, to selling liquor. Now it's at that level where you could just do anything through hip hop. But back in what, 98, 99? Yeah, you could probably come off with a clothing line, but no one was really, and then no one was really bringing out their own headphones and things like that. It wasn't really established, but you could tell it was getting there. But at that time, man, wow, you could tell that burnt a hole through Diddy's pocket just to get all those lawyers up there. And right now, I think he spent at least maybe 10, 15 million on lawyers, maybe more. Because he had to like liquidate a lot of assets to pay for the lawyers. And luckily, for him, it paid off. You know, they're looking at it as a win. He's still found guilty of some things, but they're looking at it as a win. I'm sitting down there like, yeah, I guess the most serious charges of the RICO, he didn't get. That would give him like 20 years. So they're looking at, well, he ain't gonna get 20 years. He ain't gonna get 10 years. He'll probably get 5. As I said before, they give him a Bill Cosby deal. Like when Bill Cosby clearly guilty of everything, and when it came down to it, they were like, "Oh, he's blind, he's old," and then when he came out, they gave him some sort of deal. So, oh, he agreed to this, and you thought you wouldn't get charged. Blah blah blah. He comes out and he can see again. I was like, well, I thought he was an old blind man. It's like, okay. But now you look at the contrast to Diddy and someone like Bill Cosby. They were up there. Like, he was America's dad. And now everyone look at him in disgust. Like, when they see the repeat of the Cosby Show, they turn it over. But you can't look at the guy the same way, knowing what he was doing. And the same thing might happen with Diddy. Like when you see him on TV, all up in your videos. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, when you see him again, and you see him in someone else's video, I know what he's gonna try and do. He's gonna try and pop into other videos to try and establish himself back again. Even though music-wise, Diddy wasn't saying much. His label was like, nobody was really on it. Probably his son. But yeah, nobody was on the label. He wasn't making any money from the music. That's why he gave everyone back their catalogs or whatever they call it. Publishing, yeah. Gave everyone back their publishing because he wasn't making any money from it. He wasn't making any. It was like, it was laughable. It was just there. So he just gave it back to them. So yeah, let's have a look now. Looking at this is back in 1999, Diddy and J-Lo. Like this scene alone, this little picture alone says 1,000 words. This will never leave the minds. Look, we got people who love Diddy, and you got women who saying that this man should never be allowed out again. And I feel like, he needs to really sort himself out. I don't think he can come back as he was. There's no way, no how. I mean, stranger things have happened. But this right here this one incident has destroyed him completely. And Cassie always knew it happened. She always knew it was there. And I wonder what in the world goes through someone's mind knowing you did this and you didn't pay up. Because if he paid up, all this would have been averted. Very strange man. Nice kids though. What a weird dude. You gotta love Mrs. Combs' wigs. With those little Kim wigs going on. It's a shame we never had no cameras there, man. But yeah, that would have been good. Whoa. He sat down there, sniffed his own ass. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. What's next for Dizzy? I don't know. I just don't see him coming back in the way he thought he would. But Diddy's kind of deluded. He believes his own hype. And sometimes that's good. Because you can make anything you want in this world happen. But I feel like career-wise, he needs to try and reinvent himself. And I think he's going to spend a good couple of years trying to figure out how to reinvent himself back into the public consciousness. So he can try snake his way back in. I don't know how he's going to do it. Diddy's the master of reinvention. 100% sure I know one thing he's going to do. Whenever he gets in trouble with one name, he changes it to another. So we're going to see what name he comes up with next. Cause in 1999, he was called Puff Daddy. After that, he was called Diddy. So he might just be called Love. Or something else. Or who knows? But I'm out.